Go fuck yourself! You shitpaws give chase, I will kill your dicks!
What in oblivion is that?
What do you say, guys? You can just hang outside in the sun all day tossing a ball around. Or you can sit at your computer and do something that matters.
No one intervened on behalf of...
This week on RDS Gaming, moral choices. RDS finds its compass. You're listening to the RDS Podcast, your most offensive source for all things nerd, geek, and gaming. That's right, we're trying to survive a hostile YouTube takeover once we get big enough for them to notice us, but ignore that part. And this is episode 42. And tonight, I'm your host, Racer. I'm joined by the always indivisible Zero.
Hey, what's going on?
And the man in the eclipse himself, Black Sun.
Good evening, everyone. Good to be here.
We also got Arctic tucked up in a corner, but we got duct tape over his mouth, so you don't got to worry about hearing anything from him.
He's duct taped in that chair too. He's not going nowhere.
All right. So, fellas, and I am not starting a Sir Mix-a-Lot song, just so everybody knows. Calm your tits. What you been playing this week?
Blackson, you want to go first, bud?
Yeah, mine's short and sweet because it's not really much of anything. The whole busy lifestyle of learning programming and doing that stuff.
A jet-setting game design learner person. This really not. He's busy. He got school. He's college.
Making a solid attempt at learning. No, not really much. I guess I did fire up Shadows of Mordor. The first one, I seen the second one. The trailer looked really good, so I played 2-3 hours of the first one again, which was fun, and that's really about it. But I seen that they got the Nemesis Forge in there. Also, haven't really played with it, but it looked fun, and so I played for like 3 hours.
See, I bought it on PS4. Hell, it was a while after the first one came out. And I just really couldn't get over the fact it felt like Assassin's Creed Middle-earth. Yeah, there was some other interesting stuff. Don't fucking slay me. It's so much different. Look at this. You got Altier, a guy in a hood over here, and faggot guy with long hair over here. I don't know what the fuck the main character's name was. I don't really care, because whatever. Again, I would rather be Randall than one of the other guys. There's one trilogy, and that's what I was interested in, and we'll get into that horrific nightmare later. But yeah, it felt too much like Assassin's Creed to me to really embrace it. So I played it for, I don't know, maybe 6, 7, 8 hours, and eventually I just got bored and stopped playing it. Which, sadly enough, I got bored and stopped playing it so I could go back to playing Destiny 1 alone.
Nice. It's more, I guess, early on Assassin's Creed, which those I played the first 3, and I enjoyed. So I'd say I played it. And I played through it once and made it through. I'm pretty sure, or if not, I was really close. But I'd say I enjoyed it. I had some decent hours in it, and it was something at the time. And say I did the same thing. I got it on a Steam sale. That's why I picked it up. Zero's got it now. He picked it up even cheaper than I did.
I think it was like $8. I was like, yeah, sure, for $8, I can check out this game.
There's some interesting stuff in there. At least I found some. What have you been doing, Zero?
Well, I finished up Mad Max. I must say, the ending was pretty anticlimactic, to be perfectly honest. Like, it was real good up until the ending, and then the ending was fucking pretty flat, to be honest. I was a little bit disappointed. I'm not gonna lie. After I finished that, I've been playing StarCraft, and that's really about it. They finally fixed the audio for the StarCraft remastered, and I've been kind of enjoying that. Going way back.
Nice. So Mad Max, it was less climatic than what the movie was.
Yeah, very much so. Like the best way I can describe it is it was flat. Like a lot of games, when you finish them and you get to the end and you have that real climactic ending, like it feels good. Like it leaves you on a real high note. Mad Max,
That big reveal was
yeah, Mad Max was not. Like it was flat. That's the best way I can possibly describe it.
I mean, that seems to be relatively popular these days. They kind of want to drag it out, or they're doing the same thing movies do. They want you to take away from it what you think it is, and all this other fancy art house BS. Eh.
See, and I don't. Like I want it to be, I think the word I'm looking for is a concise ending. Is that right?
I mean, you could take it that way. I don't think that's necessarily the word you're looking for, but it works. Roll with it. Fuck it.
Okay, yeah, sure. No, I want an ending that's a real ending. Like I want an ending that makes it feel like a true accomplishment. That's the kind of ending I want. I don't want an ending that leaves me walking away saying, "Eh, could have been better."
they ran out of money for the writers for that last
Well,
that last week
10
and a half
minutes of
or
the game, yeah.
yeah. They couldn't afford the writers, so the developers just threw something in there quick for you. So yeah, this here you go. That kind of whatever. It finishes.
That's kind of what it felt like.
There's so much build up and everything else in most games, most movies. Like, again, one of us here is going to school. It's not me. I don't want to direct the end of a movie. I don't want to direct the end of a game. I don't want to fucking write it. I don't want to do any of that. I want a complete experience. I want my intro, I want my middle, and I want my end. And I want it all to be tied up in a nice neat little bow. And hell, give me the credit crawl where it's like, hey, this person you ran across in that third village when you were still using the rusty sword, this is what they're doing now. Give me that shit. Let me see that shit.
Dude, I would love it if games did that shit, man.
It used to be pretty common, actually.
Well, I love movies that do that. Like when they get to the end of the movie, one of my favorites is fucking Animal House. Like at the end of that movie, like it goes on and it gives just that little snippet of, what they're doing now. Such and such is a doctor, even though he blew up a fucking car. I love that shit. I wish all games did that.
Say some used to do that. You see that occasionally on some. I can't think of which ones they were, but I remember seeing it. And I'm my school part's more for the making or the building behind the scenes, the story side. Oh, that not so much my forte. What they're teaching me. I know people that are going for that though.
You'll get there. We'll force you to.
That's right.
I know people. I will. Yeah. Drag others in. Hey, need a little help with this. This is the base. Now fluff it up for me, please.
Well, I mean, I've added like 2 games to my wish list on Steam, so I remember to buy them at some point, but I have played nothing. Not a single minute, not a single hour of any game anywhere.
Damn, it's pretty unusual for you, bud.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I know you've had a lot of stuff going on here pretty recently, so kept you pretty busy.
Yep, let's hope that trend continues. Gotta stay busy. Yeah.
Keep
yeah,
occupied.
haven't played anything, haven't done anything. It has been busy with zero accomplishment. Well, zero, I can't say zero accomplishment. That things have gotten accomplished, just nothing earth shattering or changing my world in particular. But that's all right. As my phone and the 5,000 Amazon notifications I've gotten today tell me, there'll be plenty of shit to do.
Nice.
And I gotta relearn how to wrap some stuff, but that's all right. I haven't had to do that in a little while.
Yeah.
We'll see if I'm still as terrible at it as I used to be. I'm hoping like purging the memory of how means I'll actually be good at it this time.
Like vinyl wrap.
No.
Oh.
No, I can still install decals like a motherfucker.
Yeah, you can. Holy shit.
That's how I used to do that actually for a living. That part. Big, long ass stickers.
I think he means more along the lines of presents.
Yeah, that would be the wrapping. I am not going to be the next Eminem. I'm also not going to be the next me in applying vinyl to vehicles. Yeah, that's just a hobby. Unlike everybody I work with, which I was asked today, so how can I like use copyrighted logos but get away with it? Purchase the license? Yeah, that's way too expensive. Can I just change it a little? I mean, you can. And at the size of your business, you're not really big enough that unless you get reported, somebody's going to fuck with you. Oh, I already got reported. Well, you're pretty much done then.
Yeah.
Time to change it.
Well, can I just change it a little bit? You can, but still, it's you're entering into intellectual IPs as far as this goes, or intellectual property, not intellectual IPs. That's super redundant. You're entering into intellectual property. If it looks like it, close enough that somebody's going to be happy with it, it's close enough to get you sued.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter if you're double intellectual or not.
I was hoping you'd know it. No, I don't know how to cheat a multi-dollar million corporation out of their stuff. I'm sorry. Do ya? Really think I would still be here if like I had that kind of skill just in my back pocket. Like, yep, here you go. Here's how you can take a $1 billion a year idea and just take it for yourself. Yes.
Might not still be doing what you're currently doing still if you could manage that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd manage to capitalize at least a tiny bit on that kind of skill.
We might all be off enjoying ourselves and doing this from, yeah.
A fucking beach in the Bahamas that I own? Yes.
Yeah.
That's where I was going with. Or else a nice little island that you own, one of the two.
Fuck it, the Bahamas is an island.
You're all mine, bitches.
But yeah, so that's not been a whole lot of action on the game front. Yeah. Man, my life has been pretty goddamn vanilla lately. I've watched a lot of Netflix. And hey, all of the DC shows on the CW have started back up, so there's that.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting start to some of them I've seen.
Yeah, I gotta give him credit. Good job, Guggenheim. Pretty sure Oliver fired more arrows in the first episode of Arrow this season than in the entire last season. So let's keep that going.
This is true.
Hell yeah.
And I'm pretty sure most of those were not, incapacitated the dude. A lot of those look like kill shots. I don't know if they just, like the choreographer and the effects guy were like, we got to do this a lot for the first week. Let's just move on. Let's get this done. Because some of those dudes, they look like heart shots, not in the shoulder.
Well, that and they kind of dropped and didn't move afterward. They definitely flopped like it was a kill shot.
Oh, dude, that has been like, I have some disturbing shit on my playlist for Netflix right now. I'm pretty sure Mindhunter is going to send me down a very dark rabbit hole. But that was like one of the things. And here's the fun fact. Number one, it's based on a book written by the guy the main character is based on.
All right.
Fucking for real?
Yeah, and every speech, the first guy they go to talk to, every speech he gives is word for word the interviews with him.
Oh.
So there's no artistic direction. There's no fucking let's modify this, that, or the other. Literally every word he says, the cadence, the timing, everything is what the guy said.
Man, I could have went the rest of my life without fucking knowing that, man. Jesus. That show is insanely disturbing.
Yeah, but that was the thing where he's talking about, you know how in movies and TV, when you stab a person, they fall over and they're dead. Well, that's not how it works. They bleed to death. Slowly. And, like, I get it, and the way they framed it, and the actor that got to play the guy is at the same time likable and fucking disturbing.
Oh, yeah. Like, I don't know where they found that dude, but he did a fucking crazy good job playing that part.
See, I haven't seen that one yet, but I did check out The Good Place.
Oh, yeah.
That turned for a little twist there about halfway through.
Yeah.
Have you made it all the way through to the end?
Yeah.
Dude, holy fuck.
Yeah. Yep. Here's your good place. Gotcha, fucker.
If you're listening to this, do yourselves a favor. Go to Netflix and watch The Good Place.
Also,
it is insanely funny.
Mute this video for the next minute. Okay. I fucking knew it only because Ted Danson could not play the ultimate pure goofball. I fucking knew it only based on that. He has always been just a tiny bit sleazy, no matter what character he plays. I'm like, nah, don't buy it. He ain't pure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyone that he's ever been in, yeah, it's never quite that true.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I get it. And I just, like, literally the day before I started watching that, I just finished Cheers. So it was like, yeah, nah, ain't happening. I know this. There's going to be something big and fucked up here.
Well, let's say I started off too, and it's like, okay, this is a little bit. I mean, it's funny, a little too lovey-dovey. Something's off. On the first few when I started watching, I'm like, okay, there's something that's gonna come up and happen.
But yeah, definitely, as Zero said, go out and watch the show. It is a really, really good show, and like, there's gonna be some down moments and stuff, but I don't care what frame of mind you're in. It is just a good, Like, this is taking me back to the 80s and sitcoms and stuff there, where there's just a sense of heart to the entire show that bleeds through into every aspect. It's really fucking good. And despite the fact there's some lesser known actors, some really well known actors, everybody in that show knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
They do.
And I have not seen that in a long time in an ensemble show like that. Normally you've got some weak links, but everybody plays it, and the little twists and turns that occur through it make it so fucking much more meaningful for everything you see the characters do. Also, you guys got any Coke?
I get to looking for it.
No, I'm kidding. But no, seriously. So yeah, that's I guess Netflix has replaced gaming for me for the moment, but yeah, I've got some pretty fucked up shit, like some serial killer shit, prison documentaries and stuff, and I'm like, this should not be interesting me this much. This is not a good sign. Like, I feel like I'm preparing for the next step in the journey. Probably not good to be doing all this research. Like, oh, that's where they fucked up. I mean,
Well, you do like to be prepared.
back in the days when I was married, that was always my thought, because the ex-wife watched an awful lot of Snapped and criminal justice stuff, and I'm like, she's trying to figure out where every other woman messed up. I gotta watch my back.
She did like to watch a lot of that shit, didn't she, dude?
Oh man, it was on marathon. Like, Netflix was her escape. Which, I mean, not for nothing. That's good. That's healthy. Just not necessarily the subject matter.
Maybe not so healthy for you at that point.
Yeah, that's been it for me. But it is odd because an awful lot of our news topics tie into our full topic this week. So I'm going to give a relatively quick rundown of the news. The first one is just the oddball, especially coming from a smaller studio, but this could be on the localization team. It could be on any one of 100 different things. I'm just going to go through it. I have no political slant either way on this. Oh, wow. I shouldn't have used that word. We're going to get flagged. I have no political opinion on this either way. So, Kerbal Space Program has exploded over the last couple years, very popular, but it is now getting slammed hardcore by Chinese Steam users. There was an Easter egg in the intro menu or something on the side of a ship, and it was translated as, "You're not a true man or hero if you don't reach the moon." Well, the original Chinese meaning was based on an old proverb which referred to going to the Great Wall, and it basically said you're not a true hero if you don't make it to the wall. There was no gender associated with it or anything else. So it changed, the developers changed that Easter egg for the Chinese version to make it completely non-gendered. Like, no matter how sensitive or angry or into it you are, or how analytical your mind works, you could not assign a gender to the saying. So they lost their ever-loving minds. So they proved, as always, when a large group of gamers get together, they're very even-minded and reasonable, and began 1-star review bombing the game on Steam.
Awesome.
Well, they're not the only ones that had that happen recently.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot. It was just odd to me that, number one, this was all based in China, or like 99% based in China. That's a lot of fucking users.
We'll see that happen this week.
I really don't have a date for you. It was in the last couple weeks.
Well, I was going to say the one in the next topic had it done within the past 1 to 2 weeks also, as I told Zero within the past week.
Well, here's the opposite side to that, moving on to the next topic, which apparently some people got their feminine garments in a twist again. Which I didn't see that because I don't care. The game is cancer. Whatever. PUBG hit 2 million concurrent players. Which, if we remember a few podcasts ago, on the release of their massive ESL debut, gamers were boycotting them and 1-star reviewing them because the game's not done. It's not out of fucking beta. You guys are charging for content. This is bullshit. We hate you. You're all crappy developers. Oh, yeah. Looks like it did really well on that. You guys definitely stuck to your guns.
Well, everybody in China in the past 2 weeks one-starred them because they put a private ad for VPN in there because they were all bitching about connectivity to the servers. 15,000 negative reviews in one day.
Ha! And I only accounted for 10,000 of those. But no, I mean, I get it. And PUBG isn't a bad game. They've worked hard, and even after the whole cash shop debacle, they kept updating, they kept working. Good for them on that. They did go back on their word. Props to them for involving a charity in it. I still don't think it's right. I still don't have good feelings. My opinion of the game outside of that. I do not give a shit. If fucking Square came out and released Final Fantasy VII and they were like, okay, well, re-released it, as they will sometime in 2085. And they put it out. They're like, okay, get this materia if you fucking buy this out of the cash shop and blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't finished. Like, we were testing it for them and they were doing that shit. I would still throw shade at Square. Which, please, for God's sake, if anybody from Square is listening, don't run this up the flagpole. They'll actually do it.
Yeah, they would.
Well, see, actually read something or watched something yesterday also concerning PUBG, where when it started off, say North America accounted for over 20% of the concurrent users. It has dropped drastically over the past 2 months. At current, it is under 10% that North America now accounts for users playing PUBG. But China is taking off like a rocket. And
now, is that
picking up
server pop or is that origin pop?
That's on the Steam. You can look it up on Steam and the concurrent users and the origin of where they come from through Steam stats.
Okay, so that's origin population. I was going to say, y'all motherfuckers love to jump on the Chinese servers back in the day because it was easier. So if we're just basing this on what server's most populated, that's because all the American users moved to the Chinese servers trying to get easy kills.
No, it's origin.
Which I hope they do well. Like, this is another flash in the pan. 3 years from now, we're going to be talking about PUBG the same way we talk about DayZ today. Remember back in the day. I have zero doubt of that. Still wish them success. I am sure they will continue to make a crap ton of money. And my opinion means nothing to any of those guys. They are sleeping on their mattresses filled with money, and good for them. They put some serious work in. They deserve it. You need a better community manager. And if your community manager did everything possible and you guys fucked them, you need to be better people.
Well, that's the thing. It's not, it used to be Green or whatever, the main developer or whatever that started it all off. But then they got busy enough and they had someone else start managing all that, and they're not quite as good or not quite as thorough with all their community managing and updating.
Hit me up, any of you guys. I will have no problems, but we're going to have to sign a contract because I'm going to say some nasty, nasty shit to you, and I want some protection based on that. But I am not going to bullshit you. And you tell me a lie, and I go tell the community, ain't your inbox getting filled with shit. It's mine. We gonna have an agreement in place. You can't fire me when I call you everything but a white man, or a brown man, or a yellow man, or a red man, whatever. But it will happen. I guarantee you. But yeah, so we go on to another shit show. Man, we should have done news and after dark.
Yeah.
The Battlefront 2 beta ended, and many users were left with a sour taste in their mouth. Not because of the game. Everybody seems to really have enjoyed the game itself. Looks like it was well put together, more thought. It's going back to the old school style, which is great. But users looked over everything, and with the loot crate system in that game, anybody that pays will get an advantage. There's not saying that it's going to be an ungodly or something you can't overcome, but cash will equal an advantage in Battlefront 2. Y'all gotta learn. This is some dumb shit. You can't just slip that in and nobody's gonna notice. The internet remembers everything. Come the fuck on. This was your flagship that was gonna bring people back and get more people riding the EA dick, and you fucked it up bad. Again, it'll be forgotten in a month, and I'm sure there's still millions of pre-orders, and everybody's going to be riding the Battlefront 2 dick. But I'm stating now, this is a slide further into obscurity for EA. They cannot keep doing this shit. Stop it. Just be better. You motherfuckers, there's still pictures on motherfuckers' walls of like 10 of you that were the origin, that was the hope. And y'all keep fucking the pooch. Stop it.
Well, I'd say we bitch about that all the time. Or, well, say some people do, or well, a lot of people we do, anyways. And it's well known by most of us normal general gamers that aren't can't just throw money at whatever. I mean, if you just throw money at it, yeah, that'd be cool, but still, that's not right. If you want to do cosmetics or whatever, fine, you go buy cosmetics, but leave it at that. Don't add that extra bullshit.
That's the thing. Here is my issue. I won't even buy a game if there is a tactical or a ability-based gain through a cash shop. You give me a cosmetic upgrade, even if it's a goddamn slot machine like Destiny 2. I will pour money into your motherfucker like there is no tomorrow. And I have the disposable income. Motherfuckers, I wrote a $10,000 check for the first time in my life. And despite the fact I wanted to vomit while doing it, because that's a lot of numbers at the end of that shit, I will dump money into a cosmetic system. Because I know, even with that advantage, I am going to be balancing it to where I am as good as the mediocre people. Like, unless you give me an auto-targeting, one-hit kill, multi-target weapon based on cash, and that shit ain't gonna help me. But you give me cosmetics, and I can look cool as hell when I'm watching that death screen when my body's ragdolling across the arena. Hell yes, I will pay for it.
See, and that's my thing. Like you, I refuse to play games where it's pay to win because I don't have that disposable income. So to me, I feel like I'm just banging my head off the fucking wall. And that seems pointless to me, and it immediately takes all the joy and the fun out of a game for me. So now, like you said, I'm 100% fine with fucking cosmetic shit. people can pay for that shit all day, and it has zero effect on the game other than you look fucking cool.
And I like that shit, and I understand my taste is very much different. I mean, face it, in Destiny 1, I was one of the few Titans with the armor I had in the tower. In Destiny 2, I am literally one of 2 Titans I saw playing that had the same armor, despite the lack of diversity in both games. But I liked it. It was my shit. And I've seen games where I've paid for stuff, even single player games, where I've paid for DLC or loot packs or anything else because I like the look of it. And if I'm playing the fucking game, I want to like the look of it. And again,
here's my-
Destiny 1 and wait.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, the tower using a sword or an axe or my super were the only times I ever saw my character. And I was still willing to go and pay Tess Everest for a fucking emote or for fucking not the shaders, but the glowy shit. I can't remember what they called it. Whatever it was. I was willing to do that. Or for the chance of a ship. I fucking poured money into the slot machine and got every fucking Sparrow when SRL first came out. And every fucking shader associated with it, everything else. I did that shit. I broke a fucking controller over SRL to run through it to get everything you could get. Because I wanted one goddamn shader. And Bungie has literally a vein tapped from me for that kind of shit. And that's it. It went out and I did it because I wanted it and I got it. But I would have paid as well, like they did with Destiny 2. I bought a little bit of silver at the beginning, but honestly, the game has such little replay value at this point. I would take Vanilla Destiny over Vanilla Destiny 2, despite the much better story, because there was shit to do, because there were things to enjoy. But when you start a game like Battlefront 2, that's supposed to be a return to the glory days, to the good times, and then you say, okay, we've built, let's be generous and say 75% of this game based on multiplayer, and then you fuck your player base, because there's going to be a ton of kids that don't have access to the money. There's going to be a ton of adults that are Star Wars fans that have a family or have bills and have other shit to take care of or student loans. They don't have money to pay for these microtransactions to go out and be on an even playing field with the fucking 20-year-old with a trust fund or the 35-year-old with a really good job and no family that he has to take care of or isn't a retard and doesn't try and take care of everybody else. They can't stand on that. You're going to lose those people that save up for fucking 6 months to buy one goddamn game. Don't fuck those people, EA. Those are the people that got you where you are now.
Mm-hmm. Zero.
See, that's the boat that I fall into. Like, I've been looking at Battlefront 2, like, real hard, because it looks so good. But with this Loot Crate stuff, I'm like, if they're going to get an advantage because they have more expendable income than I do, I'm going to go find somewhere else to spend my money that I can enjoy.
Well, let's take this down to a base level. Let's just be completely realistic about the whole thing. Why do we play games?
To enjoy yourselves and have fun. A little escape.
Yeah,
For
enjoyment.
That last part is what I want to focus on. It's the escapism. That's the avenue.
I can agree with that.
You can't be a sorcerer. You can't be a fucking king of nations. You can't be a magical fucking space lord None of this is possible. The only time we get into an enjoyment of being realistic is if it's a sim and if there's a greater existential threat that is physically formed. So we're talking zombies and shit like that. Like when you are based, when it comes down to it in a game, your source of escapism gives you an unrealistic threat that you can overcome. But the threat is heightened by the fact you feel more human, more normal. That makes sense. But gaming is much like books and movies before it, and radio shows and plays. Everything that came before any source of escapism was to completely level the playing field. There was not a difference. If you could go and watch a movie for fucking a nickel, then people that were rich and at that time were making $5,000 a year, and the guy that made $500 a year could go watch the same fucking thing. It balanced the playing field. It didn't matter how much money you had. Yes, the rich guy could go watch it every fucking night. But you know what? You both had the same experience. That's what gaming is now. It's that escapism. And the fact that they want to, because of profits, because of a board of directors, they want to drive this home that if they can make more money, they want to give an advantage to the people with more disposable income, is bullshit. It should be the same escape for both people. Because I guarantee you, kids that their fucking parents saved up for fucking 3 years and bought them a PS4 and just scraped and did everything they could to get that kid a PS4 because they wanted it, because they knew their friends at school had it and everything else. And that kid fucking murders my ass in Crucible. That's a balance of the playing field. Yes, I could buy 12 goddamn PS4s and 100 copies of Destiny, which I came relatively close to doing that. But the point is, there's no difference between the poorest and the richest person in that lobby, the poorest and the richest person in that escape. The bullet to the head is what counts. And this shit drives me nuts. Fucking nobody else is balancing anything based on that. Give everybody the same chance to escape. Don't do this bullshit where you're going to make a fucking shitty person with more money above somebody with less money. That is bullshit. That's going back to the old evil days of fucking working employees into the ground. You don't do this shit, and you don't tie it into an IP based on humble beginnings, advancing to the point where you're a hero. You take care of everything. The very idea behind Star Wars is the humble beginnings and the good pursuit makes everything equal. It overcomes the greatness, the fucking empire, no matter what it represents, be it the old school racism or Nazism and this marching impossible force and this tiny group of freedom fighters, the people that don't have that income, overcome it. Don't take that IP, take that idea, take that escapism, roll it all into one, and then go, well, you got the cash, then you got the fast track.
Oh yeah, I fully agree, and say that's why. Well, before I started what I'm doing now, any game that I ever create will not have any of that bullshit in there. Say maybe eventually do it so you get in, cosmetic stuff, different skins for whatever this and that. That's fine. But anything beyond that, anything that will affect the actual gameplay, no, I will not do that. I never. And if you guys ever catch me doing that, yeah, kick my ass and set me straight because it's
well
bullshit.
beyond that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much worry you have to, to be placed in that because I have strong feelings in the same way. It's total bullshit, and there's no way they should do it. I hate games that do that myself.
All right. I've got a little heated. I've been on the soapbox for a while. We're going to speed through these next 3 items. Then we're actually going to get to what we want to talk about.
Good idea.
All right, fine.
All right. For all the kids my age out there, Tamagotchis are back, baby!
Oh,
Twen-
really?
20th anniversary. Sadly enough, the LCD on the new Tamagotchi is smaller than the original model.
Are you serious?
They have less features than the original model. But the entire point that I included this in the news was just for this. That's right. Now you can spend your money on a small device that you'll forget about and let die. You monsters. But, and we're going to round this up. We got a couple of evil moments here. And for the only two people that can actually see the way I wrote this out, I'm going to flip it. Again, we're going to follow up on the Battlefront 2 bullshit. EA has buried yet another developer that has made them a shitload of cash. And for anybody out there, again tying into the last topic, that had a massive chub over Star Wars 1313, yeah. EA killed Visceral, the creators of Dead Space. The guys that produced the game based on old assets and with their new ideas that created the amazing looking Star Wars 1313 trailer from E3 this year. Yeah, EA killed them and then moved development on that Star Wars game, I believe, to EA Vancouver. Yeah. So
That sounds about right.
they have announced that they are going to realign the idea behind the game. So loot crates and multiplayer, it'll probably end up being a fucking, battle royale game. Ugh.
Why do they do shit like that?
Because EA has a board of directors to report to, and they have to hit profit margins, and I am sure, based on Dead Space 1, that Visceral was like, no, we got a great idea, we're building it, it's going to be good, done. And EA was like, but you got milestones, and you have to hit this target, and we need this kind of profits, and yeah. There are times when I understand saving money. There are times when I understand the shit. You also have to give things a chance to flourish. Let something become Demon Souls, and then you can rip the heart and soul out of the game over the next 4 sequels. Come on.
Yep.
And revisiting one of our favorite publishers, our final point of news for the day. We've bashed on EA pretty hardcore, and I shat on Destiny 2 for a moment, but Activision may actually be the devil. Starting in 2014 and gaining approval in 2015, Activision filed a patent. Yes, a patent on file with the US government for a computerized system that encourages microtransactions based on an unbalanced matchmaking system. In the patent application itself, it details making players be beaten by higher skilled players or better looking players and wanting to emulate them. Half of the largest gaming conglomerate that exists right now, Activision Blizzard, filed a patent on the idea that they can make players spend money to be like other players. Not only enough to gain money from a system like that, but to make sure nobody else could have that same system. Now you can go out. You can suck their dick and say you're trying to get a patent on it so nobody else can use it. Yes, because Blizzard Activision has never once reached out with an open hand to slap players and take their money. All I'm saying is vote with your wallet, all. EA, Activision, like, I'm at the point where I may not even buy Destiny 2 DLC, even if they include all the shit they should have from vanilla, just because fuck you, Activision. This is some petty shit. And it pisses me the fuck off. You are trying to rape the wallets of your consumers. And I can't accept that.
Well, yeah, saying on top of it, it's not like they're not making, money hand over fist as it is between everything that, say, Activision Blizzard covers. I mean,
Yeah.
it's huge.
Yeah, and they could do nothing for the next 10 years and still be profitable.
Yeah, I mean, so you get all the Call of Duty on top of it, which are yearly and sell out instantly. I mean, come on, not enough? That's kind of bullshit. Especially just the whole reason and how they're doing it and why they're doing it.
Oh, and let's not forget World of Warcraft subscriptions. Like retarded amounts of revenue, just absolutely insane amounts of revenue just off that.
Yeah, so that's my big issue. That's my issue right there. Fuck that. Fuck you guys. That's some bullshit. You're trying to make sure you have the market cornered on that idea. That's sickening.
See, it's just the idea itself that is.
I was
the
going to
whole
say,
point
just the idea, period, let alone the fact that they're trying to make sure that nobody else can use it. Just the idea, period, pisses me off.
Which rolls us into our main topic, which, yes, it's just called morality in games, but the focus behind it is, why is it difficult for most of us, and even our absentee faggot who possesses very little actual morality, finds it difficult to make immoral choices in games where that option is presented?
This is one of those topics that I have thought super long and super hard on. Because, there's a bunch of games that I've played where you get to make the choice of good versus bad. Like, you can either be the good guy or you can be a dick. Mass Effect is a great example. Like, you can go the good route and be the Paragon, or you can go the bad route and be the Renegade. And no matter what, I always find myself wanting to go the good route. Like, I've even sat down and tried to go the bad route a couple of times, and I just end up being like, I can't fucking do this. And I don't know if it boils down to just simply, I'm not cut like that. Like, I am sure Racer will have a far more thought out and psychological response to this. When I read books, I want my good guy to be a good guy, not my good guy to be an asshole. When I watch movies, I want to see the good guy win in the end, to go through the struggle, but to win in the end. Like, that's what I want. And like I said, I've tried. Because some of them are like, this could be fun, this could be neat, but I can't ever do it.
Well, there's a relatively simple application there, and In a sense, it's a psychological experiment. In a sense, it is a side effect of good writing and good design. If there was no association, if it was completely separate from you as a person, I don't think it would be a problem. It is the fact that, and again, we'll use Mass Effect as an example, it is designed to insert you into the role as Shepard. Therefore, it feels incongruous. It feels wrong to make a choice that's outside of your normal moral compass. So it should feel that way. If it was easy to make the wrong choice, then you should probably question yourself.
Oh, I'd say I fully agree, and say I'm the same way when it comes to those, and I've seen it too, and I've watched others do it and whatnot. Some can do it easier than others, and it all comes down to that. And basically, it comes down to your true self still comes out and shines through your choices in the games. Be it, say, in Fable was another one that was that way that I played the first couple of, and that was the same way. And at the end, got through. I mean, I still ended up. I had basically the faint halo above. It's either that or you get girl horns and you got flies and whatnot buzzing around you if you go evil. But your true self always ends up showing through in games like that, in my opinion, at least from what I've seen.
In many cases, yes, but that's where I make the distinction. If you insert the self into the game, that happens. I know tons of decent people that will play the absolute evilest route just for laughs, but they don't connect. They don't feel like they're inserted. And that's why, I mean, let's take it down to brass tacks. That's why you guys are here. That's why you guys are a part of RDS Gaming. You also occasionally run across sociopaths who will make those choices to look better. And yes, we all get frustrated and we'll fucking save scum and go do something terrible and then come back and reload and do it the way we normally would. But it is that distinction. It's when you insert the self that the true self becomes apparent. If you don't insert the self, then you just play a game, and that's fine. There's no moral judgment or anything else there. The reason we have issues with that is because we always do insert the self. We play the role. And we don't want to be the dick. We don't want to fucking be the evil person or the asshole or anything else. Our escapism is getting outside of the day to day and having that chance to be the hero, no matter how mundane or how ridiculously outside of reality it is. That's what we want to be. And we do as much as we can in the day to day to be that. Whether it's helping a random stranger or a person you know, or whether it's being a good father, or whether it's trying to build a future that will be able to help others. All of those things tie into the same thing, into your true heart, into your moral compass. And at the end of the day, when we have a chance to completely immerse ourselves in the role, that self comes out. And that is why for us, it's difficult to choose that negative route. Yeah, sure, they got some cool looking shit and some real shiny stuff. But if I see that negative counter show up, I'm not going to feel good about it.
Yeah, and that's what it all comes down to. And part of it comes down to, say, some games it's easier to do, choose the, go whichever way, go either way. Some aren't as, don't draw you in as much and aren't as, I guess, don't draw you into the role as much and aren't, I guess, I don't want to say developed as well. They may not be what they're after, but most of the ones that we go, games we play or whatever, I mean, there's that story there, and we tend to, like you said, insert ourselves in there, and that's what makes it fun and enjoyable for us.
I'm going to coin it here. What what Black Sun is looking for is they're not as morally or emotionally immersive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. There is a time and a place for everything. And if you've played a multiplayer game online, you will find a way to either reason or take everything else away. That competitive edge may overcome everything else. But it is a question of empathy. And if a game is good at immersing you in a moral or emotional sense, then if you possess empathy, that will be the natural course for you. If you do not possess empathy and you're a sociopath, you can fake it. Because that's a key example. Sociopaths don't, it's not that they don't understand emotion or they don't feel emotion. It's that nobody else does to them. So you run with that and it just doesn't matter. You can fake it because that's the key tool in any sociopath. But again, when we immerse ourselves in these absolutely private moments, take Mass Effect, take Skyrim, take Fallout, any of those. If nobody else is watching over your shoulder and you still jump in head first and can't do the wrong thing, that's a pretty good indicator to me, not a licensed psychologist, that you possess empathy. If it feels wrong doing something bad, and I don't mean fucking stealing or anything else, those are minor transgressions, but if you're not wiping the town out and giggling about it and like go on with your life in the game, that's a sign that you possess some base level of empathy because you have become the character and these digital constructs are a part of it. That becomes a part of that character's life, therefore it becomes a part of your life. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with the other way either. It's just a sure sign that you possess empathy if you do that to me.
Let's say that's like, say, with us anyways, there's times and say we get joy out of it. Say we'll get those, we'll be playing, say, multiplayer online, doing whatever with each other. And you get those assholes that pull shenanigans or do, you know, shady shit. Well, what do? Yeah, we all get together and we go team up and we just, yeah, gangbang their ass basically.
Meat and taters, baby.
So hey,
Again,
you would play that? It's on, bitches.
I would go back to the old days when I owned an AC server and I would hang out in the typical newbie kill zones on a admin level character that I could reset on the fly and sit on top of an inaccessible building. And anybody that geared up and came down to the coast to murder newbies, yeah, they got 50 cal rounds through the head.
Oh yeah, saying there was many a times that we set up hunting parties for people being assholes on the old DayZ server. There'd be 3 or 4 of us. There'd be someone would, bring it up in chat, and there's people being assholes and dickheads. Well, we've been around a while. We had geared up. 3 or 4 of us, we'd all jump in helicopter or vehicle or whatever, and we would get down there and we would go rape them repeatedly. It's like, all right, he's dead here. Come get his gear. Since he was being a dick to you, here, come get his stuff, and then go have some fun.
Yeah, equal ground, fine. You want to play out in the mid ground? That's great. But if you went to fucking Cherno and we're sitting around on top of a building with a sniper rifle and shooting people coming off the coast, no, sir. No. You at least gave him a chance to get a gun to fight back. Not fucking plugging noobs like there was no tomorrow. Because I could get geared up much easier than you could. Literally
Yeah.
die, log out, reset an entry, and come back in, and it was game over. And that was the way I ran things, which it was because of a vote and everything else, and that was fine. But I was going to do my best to protect the people that weren't at all able to protect themselves. You were not going to go up against a guy with a fucking scout rifle with a fucking crowbar. That just shit was not going to happen like that. Other shit, yeah, let it play out. Let people do what they want. But if all you wanted to do was ruin somebody else's time, game over, homeboy. And that's it. That's a game that doesn't. Yes, they patched some shit in that gave you a moral appearance. But that was a game that didn't have a morality system at its core, but it still existed.
Oh yeah, I did. And say if you were down there and you got, grab a pistol or whatever quick and then start running north and you get smoked, well, that's your kind of your own fault. I mean, you're trying to jump ahead a little bit or whatever. I mean, that's just a chance you take. That's where that one goes.
Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the whole morality system. I've never been able to do it. I don't know that I ever would. I've tried vehemently, just can't do it. Like I have had it proven too many times that the only thing I got going for me is that compass. And I will hold on to it to my dying breath, be it in games, in real life, and anything else. That compass is what matters.
Oh yeah, say I'd say I've done the same thing. Like say same as you and Zero both have. I mean, I've tried intentionally to try and go the other way, but I mean, maybe one or two minor little things that aren't serious that kind of pisses someone off. It drops a little bit, but it always ends up it goes the other way completely.
Well, I think that plays a part into it too. Because, like I said, I have a 14, almost 15-year-old son, and like he's starting to play a lot more games that are choice based, and I like to see him make the good choice. Because for me, it probably sounds a little foolish, but it shows me that I'm doing something right in the things that I'm teaching him.
No, I'd say it makes sense. It's say you're passing on your let's say your judgment decisions, your morality, and your decision making on what you think is correct, and to be to be good to others and not just be a downright asshole.
Yeah.
And that's the beginning, middle, and end of it all, folks. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Well, you can, but there will be repercussions at some point.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And trust me, repercussions will be felt. But y'all got any other shit to say about morals?
I think really we've covered it pretty in depth, really, this on this one.
I think we
We
got
dove-
into it pretty good.
We dove in even during the news, right into it, and was covering it there too. And I think we've pretty well, yeah, covered it.
Well, in that case, as always, we thank you for tuning in. And I'm not going to give you the whole stupid ass subscript. So, at that point, all I have to say is Zero. You know what to do.
Shoot for the stars.
You'd think after talking about morality, you'd say something else, but you still doesn't. God, why? Why?